What's up, guys? Post All-Star break. Joe Grafar, Igor Henriquez on the block, talking basketball now. We did a little blow up with the Leafs, but we're back to basketball. I want to start this off by saying we made a bet. I hope you didn't forget about it, but we made a bet. We made a bet after the All-Star teams were drafted, and Giannis made another good pick after another good pick after another good pick.
You say so?
No, that's what he said. Right? Everything's like, oh, that's a good pick. Igor had to send it to me and Lamar saying Giannis is the worst GM in the league and blah blah blah. And I said, okay, like based on star power, you might be right, but we still have to play the game. So I called this bluff and I said, let's make a friendly wager based on the game. And this was just who's gonna win the game. The spread was 6.5. That's what I said. That's what I originally thought the bet was.
Nice.
So he's so confident. I said, okay, let's bet the spread at 6.5. Bet a donut and a coffee. Something easy, right? You took the bet, and then going into like the Kobe quarter. Team LeBron was down like what?
They were
double digits?
No, they were down 8 going into the.
Let's say 8 or 10, yeah. So they're down 8, and they had to make up that ground just to get even, and then hit the 24. They scored 32 points.
That's correct. So they were down 8, so the spread again. The Giannis team had an 8-point spread, and then they blew it. To be fair,
I won the bet, but that's neither here nor there.
Again, based off of the rules, and again, the quote unquote bet was. Nah, again, I don't remember it being the spread bet, but anyways, we won't get into
But you said it was going to be a cakewalk.
I thought, and you know what?
And you were wrong.
The rules came into the regards where things were a little bit different, and because again, to me they weren't really playing too serious in that second quarter.
It's an all-star game.
Well, here's the thing, and again, we can debate on some matters. I personally think that considering how charity was on the line, they weren't going to leave one of the charities without any money. So in the second you didn't see a lot of the starters from LeBron's side of things. They put a lot of the reserves. Giannis dominated the second quarter, and then they gave the 100,000 to his thing and so forth. So to me, what needed to get judged was the final quarter.
The third and the fourth.
That's when the third.
But you're still playing for your charity, right?
Well, again, and so forth. So they tied up. But the fourth was when real basketball got.
And that's when it was.
And then that's when the cream came to the top. Now that's when they started playing real defense, and that's when Giannis got locked down.
And that's when Kyle took charges.
Oh God, Kyle again. Well, some of them were debatable charges. The one on Kawhi was definitely a charge.
The one was definitely a charge.
That one should have been called. That wasn't called. I'll give him credit there. The James Harden one was a bit of a flop.
On the 3-point line.
On the 3-point line. That would have been the end of the game right there.
Yeah.
But again, then he got an offensive line. And here's the thing. And I saw it afterwards, and I'm like Nick Nurse and so forth. Like I've been on the fence with Nick. He won the championship. Because to me, like especially like going in, even watching the NBA Finals, I was like sometimes he makes, and even in the regular season, he tends to run with guys a little too much, and then they lose leads and then they blow games. Mm-hmm. And then there's Game 5 where I was there, and they have all the momentum in the world. He takes a timeout and then they lose the game, which could have been, and again he would have been skewered by me if they had lost the finals based off of that because there was no need to call. You have all the momentum. They have no timeouts. You just keep it running because again you have all the energy in the world and it almost cost them. Anyways, you pay to have specific players out there and the fans of the All-Star game. I have no clue why Trey and Luka were on the bench for so long and why and so forth. And yeah, so again there was the whole situation. Yeah, they had Chris Paul on the one side. And then I have no idea Trey.
Kyle was in for Trey because
Trey he played double the minutes that Trey did, which is completely
Trey had a bad game and he can't play like a defense. And in that fourth,
he played well. Look at the numbers. He had more assists. He had a half court shot, but he shot as well as Kyle shot it in had the same amount of points in like half the minutes. And when you need points and then we're up, like again Kyle. He's not fourth quarter Kyle for a reason.
Would you want to see James Harden go against Trey Young? Because that would have been bad.
But he was bad, but you know what? Like, look at Harden played like
he was terrible.
Stronger defense than he ever played.
Yeah,
he was
terrible on offense that game.
Yeah, but on defense, when the guys got on him, Harden played defense or what? He was trying to go because they're complaining they want to win. Those guys, I love the format. I absolutely love the format. They should do that every year. It was the most fun, and I get the whole Kobe situation, which.
That's what we were gonna say. Like Lamar said that other time. Does he have to die for this kind of stuff to happen?
But it was really well done because it got the guys to be in a competitive state, and like it was entertaining where you legitimately were on the edge of your seat, saying who's gonna come up with a 21. Guys are following each other, getting into the line, and the refereeing was a little atrocious near the end, but what are you gonna do with that? But it was massively watchable. When with the other All Star games, yeah, they try a little bit, but those guys were doing lockdown defense with Kawhi's on Giannis
MVP.
and so forth. Yeah, and you know what? He was hitting those threes, getting good on Kawhi. And I mean the relationship with him and Kobe was a little documented, or not as documented as the one with LeBron, but I think Kawhi's known him for longer in terms of being that like younger brother type
And
situation.
he's from LA too.
He's from LA, so all in all, it was great. They should do that every year.
Oh, I think they are going to do it now.
The shot clock being that was stick with what works. Now the travesty of the dunk contest, we can get into that as well. Like to me,
See, am I the only one who didn't think? Okay, go ahead. I didn't think it was a travesty.
to me, I don't think it was a travesty based off of the results that they had, because I remember I think it was in the first round where Jones Jones Jr. did the dunk where he didn't completely go over the guy. They gave him a 47 or 46. The best dunks
That's the thing. Yeah.
were probably Gordon. To me, the windmill off the back was probably one of the best dunks. Probably top five.
The one where he cupped it and came like that.
Yeah. Well, which one was it? What, he like off the back and then he cupped it up.
Like a reverse.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was
probably the dunk.
That was the dunk of the night. And I told people, I said, if you want to know who had the dunk of the night,
it was Gordon.
It was Gordon. If you want to know who won the dunk contest, it's Jones.
Yeah, because again, look,
he had one dunk out of the two final.
Because the Taco one was impressive, but he also didn't clear him. And again, he's
7'7" or whatever.
7'5" with a shoot, but again, he didn't clear him. So technically, like, he was gonna get points taken off. So, and again, people were just like, at that point,
you're nitpicking, it's too long.
50s were getting thrown out way too often these days. Like 50s were back in the day were hard to come by. They're just throwing 50s out for anything that seems to be reasonably exciting. Like, and then they're doing the same dunks over and over again. Well, like, so all in all, I didn't think it was a robbery. Do I think Gordon had the best dunk? Probably, but I don't think it was a robbery. There's the whole, and there's another thing. You got a guy from Miami on dunk contest. Why is Dwayne Wade a judge? Made no sense to me.
Dwayne Wade's had a bad
he's obviously biased. He's obviously biased. Yeah, he's had a bad few weeks. He's getting criticized for other things that are completely unbasketball.
The thing about his wife, that apparently he cheated on his wife too, that we talked about, remember? He had their kid, he pulled the usher.
Hey, and you know what? That's the basketball situations, they all have their situations there. But yeah, don't have a biased guy there. If you got what the field's gonna be, don't invite guys that have ties. Of course, you got ties to Miami, wants to see a Miami guy win it. So was a fix in? Maybe. But again, all in all, besides the semantics there, great game. Do not change it. Kyle was annoying me a little bit, but that's
neither here nor there, and it's very inconsistent to your relationship with him.
Yes, that's about it. I thought Pascal
was alright.
Pascal's already got locked down a little bit at the end when the stronger defenders are on him, but again, Kawhi does that to a lot of people. So all in all, great game, and they hope they continue it.
Okay, let's transition then into the Raptors. They have a big stretch of games coming up. Well, not necessarily big, but they're playing Indiana tonight.
Well, they're playing fairly reasonably high teams.
And Giannis and the Bucks are coming here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I hate to be that guy, but I think that I'd be very surprised if the Raptors pull off that win.
Well, here's the thing, and that'll be the measuring stick when they go in. Like, obviously they lost to the Nets on the way out, but again, in reality they were already thinking about the All-Star break and so forth. And again, you can't win them all. It'll be a measure where, because they haven't done well against teams that are over 500. So that'll be the mettle of the team in terms of how they're going to handle it. Gasol's still going to be out for a while.
The Bucks just spanked the Sixers yesterday too.
So that will not be an easy task whatsoever. They still are having issues staying healthy against the better teams. Like the Indiana game today will not be easy.
I think they've already won 2. Like, I don't think that they're going to win 3 games in a row against this.
Yeah, well, 5.5. Well, they have 5.5 on the spread. It's a home game, so again, they're really strong at home. But again, they're not going to have a consistency where they're not going to pull off 15 straight because they have some tough competition. Tough. They have the Lakers coming up soon. They have a bunch of this next 10 to 12 games. They're playing really strong opponents. Where getting out of there with a reasonable record is going to be good. But keeping that second seed is the biggest.
Very important.
In Boston. Is right on their heels. I think Miami's drying up a bit. Sixers can't seem to stay healthy, and they're all over the place. You want to keep that seed because you're probably going to get Orlando or Brooklyn without Kyrie.
I think Brooklyn,
though Cavis LeVert has been really good recently. Shout out to him on the fantasy team. But yeah, it's obviously the easier matchup because you don't want to face Indiana in the first round. You don't want to go to that 4-5 where.
And you don't want to play Giannis in the second round either.
Exactly. So you want to try to keep that second seed, and then they're playing well. But this will be their measuring stick where they play some of the elite teams and see how they do. But like I said,
Because they do have the Lakers coming up. The Lakers are coming here. Denver's coming here.
Denver. They have
The
a
Bucks
bunch.
are here twice.
Yeah, they have a bunch of There's the next like 10 to 12 games aren't exactly it's pretty much it's almost like murderers row, but they have a couple of games.
They have some software too. They look like Charlotte's coming here on Friday, and I think they do have one of the easiest schedules for the last quarter, last whatever it is.
But again, these are the ones that how are they going to handle Milwaukee in the playoffs? How are they going to handle Giannis? And Nick's been pretty good with the strategies, but again, come the playoffs, and again, I'll give them full credit. I didn't think that they would be as good as they are, simply on the fact that you lose Kawhi Leonard, you lose an MVP level player. Come the playoffs will be their measuring stick, because that's when the games get harder, and you'll see again, are they a regular season team
like
or
they
are
were
they a
before
playoff?
Kawhi, right?
And that's the thing. That's why I don't want to hear any of this about Kyle this and Kyle that, because now Kyle's gonna have to be a little bit more of a leading man in the playoffs again. So I want to see what he does. And Pascal's gonna be in that predominant role for the first time. He had a great game against Phoenix. I think he had 37, great shooting performance.
But it's Phoenix, and he's an all-star guy, so you expect that at this point.
And he needs the three to be again. Now he's starting. His threes are getting better. They're gonna need team efforts on defense and so forth, where they'll be hard to play against. I still think I'm a little bit more first round team.
They should win first.
They should win the first round depending on who they face. But again, easily you just never know, because if they bottom out a little bit. I wouldn't like their chances going up against Miami in the first round, to be honest.
That's right. I think Miami's in fifth,
fourth or fifth. I think right now it's Indiana's in sixth and Philadelphia's in fifth. I still, again, even though Philadelphia struggled, I still wouldn't like the matchup unless everybody's healthy, because for whatever reason Mark seems to have him beat in his pocket. But it's teams that, like for example, Philly had him in a big stretch. I remember the first 3 or 4 games without Kawhi, they were terrible. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna have to be consistent and play great defense, but. Again, second round, I'm still weighing. I got to see how they are in the playoffs, because that's what the measuring stick is. Great, they're doing extremely well.
If they get to the East Final,
who's their closer? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna step up and be that guy?
Who do you think their most clutch shooter is?
I mean, if the game's on the line, definitely not Kyle. I mean, Kyle's got the worst percentage in the last 2 minutes of anybody in the NBA or something, like 4 out of 30 or something. It's a disgrace.
Sounds right.
It's a disgrace. I would literally I would give it to Pascal, or I would give it to Fred.
Yeah, I'd give it to Fred.
I'd give it to Fred or Pascal inside and try to do something there. But yeah, I definitely want to give it to Kyle, because Kyle.
But the thing is, now you might be able to give it to Pascal, because he's an all-star. You get the max and all that, but you just hope in a situation like that Fred happens to be the one guy that's open to take that shot. He's proven time after time he's a clutch shooter.
They gotta stay healthy. I mean, great jobs by Terrence Davis and Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Lost his phone. Shout out to his phone. His wallet. Sorry.
He doesn't want the money. He just wants the wallet.
All sweatpants should have zippers. I agree with him 100% on that, because that's a problem.
Yeah.
They've stepped up.
Chris. Your boy?
Abush has done some production. He's been he's fallen off a little bit with his 3-point shot. He hasn't been as productive.
He airballed one last game.
He hasn't been as consistent. But shout out to Slim Duck on that one. But Norman Powell and so forth, they've been productive.
These guys back. Yeah.
They need to get healthy, and they haven't been healthy. But I mean, so far so good. I mean, you can't complain about where they are. I mean, I think a lot of the American guys thought they were going to be team 7 or 8, maybe not making the playoffs. They've overreached expectations, that's for sure.
This most disappointing team, I guess, has to be Philly. I don't want to spend too much time with them, because it's also, we know that Simmons might be out for a little bit. I know that he had an injury last game. I don't know how bad he's going to have an MRI. But for the next maybe 5 or 10, let's talk about the West. And we were talking about the Clippers before the show. Just talking about how you noticed that Kawhi was maybe getting into it with a few of his guys on the side. And the Clippers just lost to Sacramento at home. Not playing their best basketball. They had lost 2 before. They lost to Boston, and they lost to Philly, I believe, right before the All-Star break. Yeah. Trouble in paradise?
Well, the thing is with them is that they haven't had that consistency in the flow, because you look at Paul George has been injured for the majority of the year. He hasn't been able to keep on the court
first his shoulder, now
his shoulder, his hamstring, and I think they're just having those situations where they're not meshing well for whatever reason. And you know what, we all have these situations where you put on a team with a good amount of talent. So sometimes it just doesn't work for whatever reason. Maybe those reports of them being under arrest about Kawhi and Paul George getting special treatment and so forth. Maybe that's putting them off. Maybe Kawhi taking games off and not them not meshing and having enough games to mesh. Because you see that a lot of teams. You saw with the the Miami teams back in the day, and I don't think they're as strong as those teams were because you don't have a third star. I'm a big fan of Lou, and I like Montrezl Harrell and so forth, but I wouldn't put him on the Chris Bosh spectrum of things.
No, with those two guys, and Marcus Morris provides some really
Sure,
good
and
bench
Morris,
scoring, right?
Morris,
Like, that was a good
Morris
pickup,
just
too.
comes in there. Center spot with Zubac has been all over the place.
They don't play him enough.
Well, and this thing, but
They'll start him and he'll
they
play
want
18 minutes.
they want, for example, I guess they love having Lou and Harold come on the second unit to provide the energy, but a lot of those guys maybe in that starting unit like aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's where they're having their issues. So I still think they'll win the title because I think at the end of the day, once the playoffs start, and they'll be the toughest team in terms of defense. Morris was another guy that they can put another guy on LeBron in the West. They're still formidable, but there's some cracks there for sure. I didn't think they'd struggle as bad as I've seen them lately. When everyone gets healthy, that's the thing. If Paul George isn't back for the playoffs, I might have to retract my pick because
No, I think you do, and I was going to say too. I think that everybody's looking at this time of the season. We saw what the Raptors picked up when trade deadline is passed. A lot of buyout guys coming, and everybody wants to add someone to the team. But what people don't understand, and even I guess some of these teams, is you have to incorporate these guys in the lineup.
Sure.
One of the worst pickups that I saw, and I saw the stats yesterday, it was terrible. Reggie Jackson started yesterday at point guard for the Clippers. This is a guy that, he's not, to me, he's not a point guard. He's a six-man. He's a very poor man's Lou Williams. Very poor. Comes in, hijacks your offense, give me my stuff, let me get off. That's how he got his max contract with OKC. And you look at a team like the Clippers, and they're supposed to have this structure, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Zubac, like Patrick Beverly. Everybody has a role on the team. They have some shooting with Shamet. And then all of a sudden, you're dropping in Morris, who's a ball stopper. Good player, but he's another guy. You want him to be your sixth man. He's probably going to start for a little bit. Reggie Jackson, another guy, ball stopper, bombs away.
Patrick Beverly's been injured a lot too recently.
Beverly's been hurt. Like, these guys, they need to get healthy. And second of all, like I said, just for the system and fitting, imagine the Raptors. You have to give the Raptors credit because every time they bring someone in, Davis, Slim Duck, like all these guys that are Rondé Hollis, Jefferson, they're not opposite of the Leafs. The Leafs guys do not buy into the system or whatever they're doing. They're all about the stats. The Raptors guys, one game Davis is going to go off for 16. The next time Norm's going to go off for 20. Everybody takes the role. Whoever's hot, feed the hot guy. And it's a well-oiled machine. And you look at the Clippers, and that's the first thing that I'm looking at. Obviously, I like them a little bit, but like I'm not loving what I'm seeing either because it's not that machine that I'm seeing is not. It looks like they keep breaking whatever the system that's there, whether it be Kawhi going in and out, Paul George being legitimately injured, and just bringing in way too many bodies. You're only going to play 8 guys in the playoffs.
So are you leading Lakers a little more lately now?
Well, when we started the season preview, I'm pretty sure I said Lakers 1, Clippers 2 to finish the regular season. And I know that you and Lamar didn't have either of that. I think both of you guys had the Clippers.
I had the Lakers finishing 4th or 5th because I thought there'd be a lot more load management for LeBron and Anthony Davis, which hasn't been
maybe in the second half they rested.
And maybe they rest them. And again, I thought they'd be a whole new team. I thought they'd have their adjustments, and they're bringing in Danny Green, they're bringing in like a whole new roster. I thought they'd have issues, and it would take half a season to get them resolved, but they've just been based on it. And then LeBron is killing himself with all the minutes and so on. And that might, from the playoffs, that might bite him in the butt a little bit.
I think he's going to rest some games.
And again, Davis has been reasonably healthy, which isn't usually the case, so.
He's had a scare every other game.
And that's the problem, right? If he goes down, then the same thing with Paul George, they're in trouble. I mean, Denver's come along, interesting.
I think Denver's real. I don't know if they're real to get to the finals, but I think that they're real to get to the West final again.
Well, that will depend on the matchups, right? I think they'll, depending on the seed, if they finish in second, I mean, they would avoid, the Lakers.
I think that the Lakers are the only team that's going to beat them, 100%. I think if they play the Clippers, they have a shot, especially with the Clippers
size, right?
And depth, yeah.
But, and then you look at it, then you got the Houston experiment where they're just going small.
Do you think it's going to work?
You know what, though?
It's worse in the regular season.
It's worked so far, and you know what? It's the way that they're, I think Westbrook's finally realized that he has to stop taking threes and he's driving in more, which has been more effective. They don't have a big guy clogging up the lane. Covington, I saw him block Gobert three times yesterday off a play. So they've got they got some dogs on that team. It might, I don't think with Capella in there, I like Capella as a player, but this is the style they have to play to be effective because they got a lot of ball dominant guys, especially those two. And they have a lot of PJ Tucker can play a lot of D, Covington can play a lot of D, it might work for a round or two.
Yeah, that around there too.
But the problem is when you get into like when you're going up against
The Lakers.
Jokic or you got Davis inside, what are you gonna do there? Because if you look at the game plan, it would just be give the Davis inside, and PJ Tucker's not gonna be able to handle him at size.
No, and they did that the first game. They did the small ball. They played the Lakers and they beat
But they
them.
shot, they shot up too many threes, and that's when the Lakers didn't. They could just keep feeding the guys inside.
Inside, get those small guys into foul trouble, right?
Right.
But even with Capella, I don't know. But when he was there, they took Golden State to 7 games. They could have won that with the team that they had with Chris Paul and him.
Yeah.
Lastly, any other team that you're thinking about in the West that could make a push other than Denver and the 2 LA teams?
I mean, I don't really see another one. I'm liking
Utah. They've been on a streak a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like they're inconsistent at times too, and I don't know. They're a team that I like going in as a regular season team, but in the playoffs, I don't think they have the bodies to really go too far. Again, it really depends on the matchups. I mean, Dallas unfortunately looks like Porzingis and Doncic are injured every couple of games.
Yeah.
Those are a team
Powell was a big loss.
Yeah, that's a team that I thought maybe will do some noise, but I like what Memphis is doing. I think they're gonna make the playoffs, which is great there.
Then against the Lakers in the first round.
Portland's been a disappointment for sure. I don't see. I think it's at the top pick situation where I can only really see. I would say Clippers, Lakers, Denver can do some things, and I would go for that. I would say that Houston's gonna be entertaining. I don't know how far they can go, but if it works, they got the talent. I just don't know if the system is longevity is gonna work out, but. Yeah, I can't see Utah. Maybe a second rounder for Utah, but I just can't see going beyond that. And then the East is like wide open. Again, you got Milwaukee, but again, we'll see when the playoffs come around. Like
Bucks. So obviously the Bucks are the favorite to get to at least the West final. But then with the Celtics, East, But Celtics, Heat, Raptors, Sixers in a playoff series, who do you think has the best?
Realistically, it's all about. That's a flip of a coin. If guys are a couple of guys get injured, that could turn an entire series. Same thing for the Bucks. Like they're to me they don't have
the second
guy. Their team isn't as strong as it was last year in my personal opinion. They have a lot more depth pieces, but to me Brogdon was a big loss. They brought in Wesley Matthews and a couple of. I think Eric Bledsoe's playing better this year.
But he's going to be the same in the playoffs because he can't shoot, right?
And when they already know what to do in the playoffs is do exactly what Toronto did.
Don't guard.
In terms of Giannis. Get a guy in the front court, make him dribble the ball up, contain him in there, and then just send bodies. Make Middleton beat you. Make other guys beat you. But I just don't see the same. And maybe Giannis looks like a different type of guy where he's more motivated and his 3-point shot's getting a little bit better. But to me, it's in the East. I think Boston too. Boston's gonna be a problem.
Who's the best player other than Giannis? Who's the best player in the East?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Butler,
I would
Tatum,
say
Pascal,
no.
Simmons.
I would say when he's on, I would probably say that Embiid's the next best player.
Really? In the playoff series?
In a play, and again,
that's what I mean, right?
Well, unless he's got the whatever he had last year. And that's another thing. If he gets the nervousness, the stomach bug, whatever the heck he had last year. I have no idea what that was. If the EFS hangover that our boy Ron Davis likes to say that they have. Good old Patrick Patterson. I don't know. But in terms of talent, he should be.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's up there too. I would say Pascal. Pascal's got he did have a good playoff. He did have a good playoff last year, but in that superstar level, it's a different situation. So I would have to see something from Pascal to give him that title. But I would say Embiid has the most talent. It's just that if he's effective. And then the whole thing is if they get bounced in the first round, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Simmons or Embiid, one of them is gone.
Similar to.
And I don't know who. I think they would probably get rid of Simmons before they get rid of Embiid, but I don't know. That'll be a situation for Elton Brown to deal with because I can't keep going.
Yeah, the city loves Embiid, so you have to trade Simmons. They don't like him.
Because again, but then Simmons, if he's in a
situation
where he has shooters,
yeah.
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
But here's the thing, and again, I go back to the Leaf situation. How does that man not develop any sort of a shot in the offseason? I don't get it. Even Lonzo, and I'll give Lonzo credit. Yeah. I thought Lonzo was cooked the way he shot. He was never going to be much of a. He changed his shot. He puts in work. How the man is still can develop a decent, even a jump shot from 18 feet. Man, I don't know what you're doing, man. You got all the money in the world. Get some coaches. Get whatever you need, man. to make you a complete player.
And how you supposed to be
team.
taken seriously as a leader too when you're coming in with the same flaws every season.
Yeah, because he's inside the post. He's basically
Yeah,
he's almost
transition, all that
unguardable
stuff, yeah.
because he's got enough skills. He's basically
He's a smaller
he
LeBron.
reminds me a lot. Yeah, he's smaller LeBron James.
Smaller
He's just
Giannis,
a
same
much
stuff.
much worse shooter.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do with that?
Okay, well, I guess that's it then for the show. I was going to say my guy then is Jimmy Butler. I think that's why I think that Miami could get dangerous in the playoffs with Bam protecting the rim. They have so many shooters, Dunn, Hero. They made a few trades at the deadline too, so they have some depth. They got rid of James Johnson and
James
stuff.
Johnson, like they can be legitimately.
We saw what Jimmy Butler could do in the playoffs or against us last year, right? Like he had some big games.
Well, and again,
Nobody would swear.
Bam's the guy that inside. Like they're a team that again nobody wants to face them in the first round.
They could go to the East final easily.
Could possibly.
I think
What
so.
wins one stun me.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time on The Block. For Igor and Joe, take care.